Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to another third stimulus check unemployment benefits extension update. And hope every single person is doing well. Happy Monday, happy day if you're watching this over the next couple of days. And also hope everyone had hopefully a happy Easter and has been enjoying April relatively so far. But in today's update, I really want to take a revisit once again to talk about the unemployment benefits extension, specifically about the 300 boost and the rollover, because there are still some people that are still very much waiting. Now, the really great news is I believe that as of this time, about 30 something states have now officially sent out their unemployment benefits boost extension, both the rollover and the $300 to some extent. Not everyone in those states, but certainly at least one person from every single of those 30 something states have now officially received it. Now, if you guys have already, of course, received it, huge congrats. I probably will make other future videos, and technically already have, but will be making other future videos talking a lot more about the tax cut and other kinds of programs that might be available. So there's hopefully something there for that. But in today's update, it's really just going to be focused on anyone that's still waiting. Now, if you happen to have already received your unemployment, the entirety, both the rollover and also the $300 boost, maybe before you leave, and maybe do this even if you have not actually received it, comment down below your state and maybe your unemployment program and whether or not you've first off received the actual rollover to be able to continue onto the unemployment program, and also the 300 boost, because as we've kind of mentioned, is the most official information will always come from the people that are physically there, living it firsthand than any other resource we possibly can think of. And then I'll probably end this by talking maybe a little bit about the reapplying process, because I do know is that I do have another video that I dedicated specifically talking to about this, and I think some of you guys may have already seen it, but just in case I'll also put it at the end screen. But I also want to maybe just make another updated version about that to talk a little bit about the reapplying process, and especially if you're currently going through any kind of delays. So we're going to cover all of that stuff, but maybe before we begin, make sure you smash the like button, especially in light of the fact we finally do have an approval after all. So lots of great news, certainly lately. Maybe feel free to consider subscribing if you're interested in similar videos like this, and also other kinds of future updates and programs related to stimulus, unemployment, and finance. And also, feel free as always to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at all. And of course, maybe your state and the status of your unemployment if you've been able to finally successfully receive the rollover and the $300 benefits boost extension. So with that being said, let's get this video started. So as always, if you guys have been here for a while, if you guys are brand new here, consider subscribing. We're going to be using this table because it's pretty much the table everyone's been using to kind of track their unemployment status. Now, there are a couple things that haven't actually fully been reflected on this table, which we're going to currently talk about because it is updated as of around last week. So, a lot of things can happen over the last couple of days. But the general idea how this works is pretty much if you see your state and you see the word paying, it means that there's at least one person, again, keep in mind, not every single person, but at least one person on some kind of unemployment program that has officially received their unemployment, both the actual rollover extension to be able to continue their unemployment program and the actual $300 FPUC boost. So the general idea is that if you see that your state happens to already have been delivering but you just haven't actually received it, it is very possible that maybe it happens to be because they've only delivered a traditional unemployment, or if maybe it just so happens that they've only delivered to PUA or PUC and maybe you're all just on another program. Now, I do also want to address potential delays that might be happening to certain states. So if you guys are currently at that stage where you're wondering whether or not to reapply or anything like that, we're going to just talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But the current specific states that have now officially confirmed that at least one person, again, keyword is at least one person, has received both the rollover and the $300. I believe those states are Alabama, Arkansas, California. I believe California, some people have received it, some people have not, but so it's kind of like a mixed circle. Colorado, I don't think Colorado is yet updated on the table, but I do believe is that there were a few people from Colorado, not many, but I think a few people that mentioned that they did receive both their unemployment rollover and the boost. Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois. I think Illinois is another one that's about a mixed. Indiana, Iowa, Maryland. Maryland's also about a mix. Massachusetts, I know Massachusetts definitely confirmed. Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Jersey. So New Jersey was a little bit of an interesting case. They did originally go through delays, I believe, with sending their unemployment, but I believe that the delay that they had was really only about 1 week. I'm not even sure if it was a week. I just know it was a very, very brief delay, but I do know is that a lot of people from New Jersey, thankfully, have now officially confirmed that they have received both the rollover and the boost for their unemployment. New York, I can definitely confirm for most people in New York. North Dakota, Ohio, I believe, just started rolling it out. I think some people mentioned receiving it, but it's kind of like a mixed bunch, so maybe feel free to comment if you happen to be there, because you probably know the most since you guys are actually physically living there more than anyone else. Pennsylvania, I believe, has started to deliver. South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, I think partially, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, I think partially, and Washington partially. So the general idea is, I believe at this time about 30 states have now officially confirmed that they've received some level of their unemployment, both the actual rollover and the $300 boost. So that is the really, really great news, that now we have officially crossed over the halfway point. Now, if you see the word payment pending next to it, then the really, really great news is that it means that your state likely hasn't necessarily started, but they will be likely starting any day now. So anything in the very, very near future, maybe even tomorrow, or just something very, very soon. And pretty much if it says anything else, it probably means that they're going through either some kind of delay or they're still in the middle of processing. Now, if it doesn't really say as much next to your state, then the very, very likeliness is that it probably means that they just haven't released as much information. So like, hopefully if they do end up finding more information, we can be sure to share it. And maybe if you guys do have information, maybe feel free to share it as well. Especially because I think they say generally the idea, as we've kind of mentioned, is the best place to find info is really through a lot of the emails that you get from your unemployment website. Social media is normally really, really great. Many states have their own like Facebook groups, so social media, Facebook pages, Twitter pages, those are normally great, and even the unemployment websites themselves. Now, I really just want to maybe end this by talking a little bit about potential delays in the reapplying side if you currently are still waiting. So the story right now is that most states have confirmed that they are doing a smooth rollover. However, as we've kind of mentioned, is that just because it's a smooth rollover does not necessarily mean it's going to be an immediate. However, there have actually been a couple states now that have actually started to come out to kind of voice that there may be certain people in those states that maybe will have to reapply. The difficult thing though is that a lot of that stuff really varies very, very drastically across a lot of different states, so it's really difficult to kind of give a universal answer. But the general answer when it comes to the reapplying side, and I did make another video that really focuses on to reapplying. Most of you guys already probably saw it, but if you guys haven't, I'll also put it at the end screen. I believe the video is literally just called When to Reapply. But the general idea is that in most cases, if you guys are kind of tempted to reapply, in most situations, the general rule that most people have been following is to just, for now, don't reapply unless, the keyword is unless, they specifically tell you, or if from asking around a lot of people, it seems like the overwhelming majority of people in your state have officially applied and managed to successfully roll over from that. Because the reapplying part is a little bit tricky because it really varies across state to state, and it also sometimes even varies across program to program. So it's not even sometimes a state specific thing, but sometimes it's even just a program or even a person to person kind of situation. I do know is that generally if you are looking to be very certain or to be a lot more confident about your answer, say for example you're not sure, the biggest recommendation, as much as of a go-to answer it might sound, but it is something that a lot of people have recommend, is if possible to maybe just look into calling. I know sometimes it may be a little bit difficult, but I do know that it's just one of those things that if you're able to manage to connect through, I think that it's probably the best way that you're probably going to be able to get the most immediate answer to know your specific situation, just because of how different it can vary from person to person. Now, when it comes to calling, I do have another video that I technically made that talks about how to tips to physically call them, but the general summary behind that is that if you're looking to call, which I definitely recommend, is probably a great idea in most situations, because they will probably be able to look at your case and know better than almost everyone else to give you the most direct answer, is to just try to look at their website and take down several numbers, because most unemployment websites have more than one phone number. It is not as common for a lot of states to just have one number. A lot of times you might have one number that says, for this specific case, call this, or for this specific, sometimes you even have different numbers for different languages. So if you happen to speak a foreign language, I think the general idea is that the second you can get someone on the phone, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, even if it's not necessarily the right department, they'll probably direct you or transfer the call to whoever is the right department. So the idea is that as long as you're able to connect with them, and also to try to call at very scattered times, because a lot of times reaching the unemployment office it can be very, very chance-based. Some people I know take a very long time, and some people get it on the first shot. So it really, really varies, but I think that those are the general tips that they really, really recommend from trying to call. But I figured that's really just what I wanted to really just cover in today's update, the status of all of the different states. If I find more information, or if you guys maybe have more information about your state, feel free as always to comment down below so maybe other people in your state can also know about it. But with that being said, that's pretty much what I really just wanted to cover in today's update, to kind of give you guys the brand new status of where all the states stand. If you guys hopefully found something insightful, maybe smash the like button if you guys hopefully did. As always, consider subscribing for similar videos like this, and feel free as always to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at all. I'll also put other videos at the end for maybe other hopefully helpful resources about that, and also as we just mentioned. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.